Viktor Medvedchuk, the longtime pro-Russian Ukrainian politician often described as the Dark Prince of Ukrainian politics, has launched a scathing attack on US President Donald Trump, European leaders, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, accusing them of waging a self-destructive geopolitical game that benefits only America's arms industry. In a provocative essay circulated Tuesday, Medvedchuk mocked Trump's latest Ukraine strategy, in which the US president announced fresh weapons deliveries to Kyiv and threatened 100% tariffs on Russian exports if Moscow refuses a peace deal within 50 days.
Trump is not ending the war. He is repackaging it and selling it to Europe at a higher price. This is not diplomacy. This is a businessman selling grenades to political monkeys.
Medvedchuk, who has maintained a close relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin for over 2 decades, argued that Trump's ultimatum was neither credible nor impactful, serving instead as a geopolitical smokescreen. But it was Dmitry Medvedev, the deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, who described Trump's move as theatrics.
Trump presented a decorative ultimatum to the Kremlin. The world shuddered, awaiting the consequences. War-like Europe was disappointed. Russia didn't care.
Medvedchuk, meanwhile, claimed that Europe had walked into a trap, financing a war on behalf of Washington while buying weapons from the US military-industrial complex at a premium. According to him, Trump's strategy is less about ending the conflict and more about shifting the burden and the bill to America's NATO allies.
Washington solves the issue of loading its military-industrial complex without getting involved in the Ukrainian war. It shifts the financing to Europe and sells weapons to it. It's no longer the US funding the war, it's Europe.
A key claim in Medvedchuk's tirade is that Zelensky, weakened politically and militarily, is attempting to win Trump's favor by offering Ukraine's natural resources with no conditions. He alleges the Ukrainian president is now a liability for both Europe and the US.
Zelensky is bribing Trump with a resource deal, according to which Ukraine's resources are given to Washington without any conditions.
Despite positioning himself as a peacemaker, Medvedchuk argued, Trump continues to support war indirectly, ensuring profits for US defense firms while absolving America of direct responsibility. European governments, he said, are falling in line without resistance.
What is happening indicates that the current European state management has an intellectual level below the baseboard, since it buys the self-destruction of its countries in this way.
While Medvedchuk's influence within Ukraine has dwindled, especially after his arrest in 2022 and subsequent handover to Russia in a prisoner swap, his rhetoric remains aligned with Moscow's broader messaging campaign. Now heading the Russian-backed Other Ukraine platform, Medvedchuk has returned to the public sphere as a vocal critic of Kyiv and the West.
Thus, the US president is using Zelensky as bait for a big European fish. And the Europeans have already taken the bait. All that remains for Trump is to hook and pull his catch ashore.
He warned that this cycle, where American arms are sold, European governments fund the war, and Ukrainians continue to die, is a formula for global catastrophe. Drawing a brutal metaphor, Medvedchuk accused Western leaders of knowingly walking their nations into disaster.
The US president is selling high-ranking European leaders a gun so they can shoot themselves. Zelensky is a model for many European leaders, and this political fashion cannot lead to anything good.
Viktor Medvedchuk's remarks are widely seen as Kremlin-aligned propaganda. Still, they offer insight into how Moscow's loyalists are interpreting and attempting to undermine the West's Ukraine strategy, accusing Washington of profiteering, Zelensky of desperation, and Europe of complicity in a war they can neither win nor afford.